It is about that time to break forth the rhythm and the rhyme. Okay, thou stop that. Hello, everybody. It is Suda. Welcome to the Campfire. It is Tuesday, August 19th, and you are here with the awesome Miss Peoples. But if you notice, we are missing one. So, first off, a huge, big thank you to Screenager for all the work he's doing post Gamescom, for all of the interviews and things that we are bringing to you through MMO Buff. We're letting him take the show off so that he can work. But we still have the hostess with the mostest in the best sequin dress that could ever match the best sparkly beard you've ever seen, and that is Real Blank Space. Say hi.
Hey everyone, how you doing today?
And we are also joined by, some of you may recognize the man behind the snowman. Wow, yeah, that is really hurting me. But anyway,
Yeah.
some of you may recognize the
Regrettable.
man behind the snowman. Hi, Tim.
Oh, hi. Sorry. There we go. That's better. Hey, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to suck at being a web host. I'm getting a post up in the last minute. So, hi, everybody. Hey. Hey. Listen, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing with your fingers. That's evil.
Wow. We haven't even started, and I thought we had this
Yeah.
all sorted, but you're doing your thing.
Yeah, I'm failing. So, well, let's delay it.
Batty.
Listen, you're the one who's
That's-
dressed like me, buddy. You're the one who's dressed like me. Yeah.
I know you want to be like me, you know,
No, I have standards of living.
big and strong and awesome and Viking, but
No.
just because you wear a shirt isn't going to make you as awesome as me. I can take this
That's-
off when I'm done wearing it and mail it to you. Maybe like through trans osmosis, you could like rub it on your body.
No,
I-
I don't think it'll
Tried
get sent
that.
through the mail. I think for some reason I feel like they'll stop it midway through transit, like
They
biological
might. They're
attacks.
probably going to expedite it just straight there.
Yeah.
Take
So
it
hey
on a
guys,
jet.
hi everybody, I'm Tim. And you know what? Let's get this straight away. We're doing a T-shirt contest, right? We are. This T-shirt, not that one because his is stupid. Not that one because hers is awesome, and that's just way too awesome to give away. But these gigantic T-shirts can be yours if the price is right. So.
There's
Oh,
no
my.
price involved.
Well, $0 in participation in fun. So there's going to be a tweet that goes out. Tweet.
Well, there's a couple of things involved in this one. There are two ways to get your hands on one of those amazing gigantic t-shirts. What's the first one?
The first one is participation in the forums. The GG Unleashed forums. We recently went through a really kind of awesome overhaul. So I think I have Twitch up. I'm going to post this without getting killed by your bot, I think.
You should be able to.
Okay, let's see what happens. So if you head over there to that link I posted, it's going to actually take you to the forums, where it's going to say, hey, you guys can do some of these things to get involved. One of the cool things I found out a little bit earlier from Troy is that this is a global contest. So anybody around the world can enter and participate in this contest. Be the first in your country to have a gigantic T-shirt. How awesome is that?
I am very, very impressed by this.
That's very
So am I.
nice.
Way number 2 is once you've entered on the forums, you can get a second entry by tweeting out where is that text of ours. I just tweeted it out. Listen, why are we laughing here?
I needed a laugh, and you were providing them, so thank you.
You know what? I'm gonna leave. No, I'm still here.
Wow. So yes, there is a t-shirt giveaway. It's all about the keeping yourself together and warm, and Tim is here. And we are actually here to talk about global communities. Now, for those of you who are new to the Campfire, that snowman. As much as I might like that snowman, I just kind of want to punch him in the carrot. Just be like, "Pow."
My phone has been lighting up, and Olaf is my ringtone.
So professional of you to leave it on.
Wow.
I thought we were supposed to for sound effects.
Nah.
Muted.
Nope.
All right. Try this again.
But yes, so what we're here to talk about is communities in general. And one of the things that we know and we recognize when it comes to gaming communities is that a lot of communities are literally global. Now, it's one thing when you have a group of individuals who get together under a guild or a gaming title, for example, like Viking Nation or Afterlife Gaming or Enigma or whatever, which are the typical things associated with the normal hosts for this show. But it's something else entirely. And this is also where Viking Nation kind of transcends, because you both have this sort of difference. It's something else entirely when you are the community kind of site or the community leaders of like almost the entire community for a particular game. And you just look so cool with those glasses. I just keep thinking Joe Cool. But it has a completely different kind of feel to it, especially when you have so many different guilds and gaming communities involved in it. So what we're going to be talking about today on this show is how to handle it, how to manage it, and how you get over some of the sticky things that can pop up, especially when 99% of the time it's all volunteer. And then you've got to deal with the drama. And then you've got to deal with the egos. And then someone said somebody that pissed somebody off, and then you have to go back through the forums and figure out who's the one who said it, etc.
Sounds like high school.
It does sound a little bit like high school sometimes, but
Yeah,
not always.
I've been there. Yeah.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to sort of start it off, and what I'd like to know from both of you, because you are both a part of what I would consider the global reaching communities, why are you inspired to try to be one of those leaders? Anyone take it?
So I think one of the biggest things about the term community is not necessarily what it means, but what it does, right? A community is an organization of people, whether or not they're like-minded in every aspect of what they do. They come together for a general purpose. We see a lot of niche communities come up. Take League of Legends as a primary example. There's your competitive gamers, there's your casual gamers, and then there's your me gamers who I don't play League of Legends. But then there's the overall gaming community, and they all kind of tie in together. But the global community, I think, is one of the biggest parts of a game. The last time we talked, I quoted Troy Hewitt from Motiga, who says that a game doesn't make the community, but a community makes the game. And I think that adage is so absolutely true, especially with a title like Gigantic, who's still coming out and is still finding its hole in the world, finding its hole in the community. I think one of the biggest things being, be it the subreddit, be my website, Gigantic Unleashed, Gigantic Hub, all of these sites are building their own communities, and oftentimes it becomes a competitive thing. Which site? Don, what are you laughing at? I see you smiling. No smiling.
I'm accepting smiles and giggles, so please continue.
The other part of it is the Twitch streamers, how they it becomes almost competitive. I think someone said it earlier. You have communities of Twitch streamers, and I'm sure that Don has the streamers that he works with and gets along with, but at the same time, there's those streamers that they just don't get along with, that it becomes, to a degree, a competition to have the viewers. While it's not necessarily what they go for, there's a paradigm shift in thinking about what that means and how to capture that. But overall, the purpose is still the same. Overall, the purpose is to come together, promote a title, get involved, get people engaged, and have a good time. We're all here for fun. It is all volunteer. Most people don't get paid for this stuff. Most people do it because they love it. I'm at my real job right now in my office taking my lunch break to do this because this is what I love to do. But I think that overall the global community trumps the smaller communities, even though the sum of all parts is that global community.
So for you, it's a passion thing, it's a love thing, it's a way to pull like all of them together and see how it all intermixes, and just using it as almost a powerhouse to promote the things that you love, whether it's the latest knitting or the latest cookbook, or in your case, a game.
Right, but it's not. It's more that though. Is you'll take. Let me bring this to a little more personal level. My website, Gigantic Unleashed. I started Motiga Unleashed out of curiosity. If I were to go to another Gigantic website and say, "Hey guys, come check out my website," in reality, more than likely what's going to happen is that website or my post is going to be removed. Not because,
Right.
Right, so that's the idea I love the guys at the subreddit, Narwhal and Shu are really good dudes. They permit one post for your website on the subreddit, which I understand because people will get spammy. My philosophy is a little bit different. As long as you're being friendly about it, if you say, hey, this guy over on our website posted this really awesome article, you guys should go check it out. I think that encourages the global community versus the kind of niched and subsectors of communities.
Okay. Go ahead, Blink. Add on something to this, because I have a feeling you've got a few things you can add in this particular case.
Well, when it comes to, there's a couple different things I was going to throw in there. When it comes to community in gaming, sometimes we're talking about community for the love of it, people who make their websites and they're not monetized, there's not a real end goal or objective. And a lot of those people are much more open to cross-pollinating with each other. There is, just like with Twitch, there are some folks who don't like to do stuff with me because I do a lot of the charity stuff, and they're looking to get hard viewer numbers, and they're looking to do the marketing side of stuff, and the pitch is real, but in the end, they're looking for how many units I've sold of glasses, or how many beanies I've sold, or how much I've spent sending swag versus things like that. So when we talk about community in that aspect, we're really talking about sections of marketing. When it comes to if we take out the whole marketing part and we're just talking about global community reach, I think that's great. If you can take out all the subjective, altruistic sort of stuff that everybody has or says they have, and you put it into, the context of getting information out there, then that's awesome. It doesn't matter that Tim's website has something that my website doesn't. If it's a better article, if I'm not looking to try and keep it again in the realm of marketing, and I'm actually trying to encourage the global community, I have no problem linking his stuff, even if that means my retention on my own website is smaller, or more people may end up going there. But it is a very interesting struggle that some folks will have where, like Tim said, and I'm sure he's probably may have experienced in the past, where, hey, we've got this cool link to our site, and people are like, no, like, we have to talk about this. You can't just put stuff on, on our site, because that global knowledge, even if it's better, one of our mutual friends does a lot of guides, and I used to spread his stuff out everywhere because they're amazing. But he wouldn't be able to put it on one site, and then another site would get, be like, hey man, why didn't you let us have that? If everyone was altruistic and it was very much just global knowledge to check things out, I think things would be a lot better. But that's, unfortunately not the way that it is. So there are some hurdles, to that global community concept.
Right, and I think it comes down to a certain degree or a certain capacity of human entitlement. Everyone feels entitled to their own domain when it comes to things. And Narwhal and I were talking last night, and he made Narwhal runs the subreddit. Something he said really kind of hammered home is everyone tries to be first. Everyone's going to make this fantastic website. Everyone's going to do this wonderful thing for the community when it's fresh, when it's new. Let's face it, some Twitch streamers, if they get in at the right time, let's use Arcade as a primary example. There's an individual who was unknown to the world of streaming, who ran a huge guild on the alpha server for Arcade. Now you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Right. So without naming names, because that's not what this is about, he got in at the perfect time, and now his stream is profitable. Now he's making a living off doing streams because he got that narrow window of opportunity, and it blossomed. And that's just not, from a community standpoint, that doesn't do anything for the community. it does something for the individual, and it might create a small community for a time, but sustainable community growth is not attained through blitzkrieg tactics. It's attained through transparency. It's attained through really knowing the pulse of the community. And you know, we talk about Troy a lot when we come on here, but Troy and Allie and a lot of the folks at Motigan, I've had some really good experiences with them. Don and I were out in Seattle with them, and we spent basically 2 days really getting to know a lot of the developers. And there's a degree of transparency that comes with that. Don and I hate each other, but our paths seem to collide quite a bit in these events, and it's because I think we're both attracted to these transparent communities and these communities that we know that we want to be involved in. And Motiga is doing a fantastic job, and obviously we're not just here to talk about Motiga, but that's near and dear to my heart. And obviously Don's because he's wearing my T-shirt.
We're all sporting Motiga in some way here today.
Let's rep your Motiga swag. Hold on, let's do this.
There you go.
So, random sidebar, I'm also giving one of these away on my forums.
Yes, and I'll just repeat it for those who are joining. Thank you so much for joining the Campfire. This is a show dedicated towards building strong gaming communities, getting past the hurdles that can be involved with either leading them, being a part of them, finding them, or existing in them, because honestly, it's not an easy thing to do. And we're here to give not just our experiences, but also to bring people who have their own communities in to talk about things. And we are joined by the awesome snowman that he is, Tim, who also goes by Darius. Although, as I teased him the last, as I teased him the last time he was here, Darius spelled wrong. And he is here from Unleashed. You know what gets me for some of the things you guys are saying? And yes, there is a competition. He's giving away slag. You're giving slag away.
That's my last name, Slagger.
Slag is something completely different here in the United Kingdom. So wrong on my part. Bad. But one of the things you guys are making mention of here, which I find interesting, one of the things I love about you, Don, is the fact that you have the ability to see it from a monetization as well as a passionate manner. You have the ability to do those two different viewpoints. And we have Tim here, who is incredibly passionate about what his community is and, you know, what his focuses are. And yes, the transparency, I get right behind that. And I am also one of those individuals who loves the passionate side of things. Yet, doesn't it make marketing sense to have competition from the different fan sites out there for, say, a game developer?
Of course it is. It's not only does it drive everything from, you know, creativity, ingenuity, inspired folks to do different things, but especially geographically. You know, if you have Motiga Unleashed from Europe and Southeast Asia, and then there's one in you know, wherever, that means you have different religions and ways of life. You don't just have one demographic that covers, you know, all sorts of stuff. That's why when game developers test, they want to get more than one type. And I hate to say that we get melted down to types, but we do types of gamers to try out their game. Because what I look at as somebody who really critiques systems may be different than what a casual player first looks at when they're like, I never got told where to put my hand on the keyboard. So that UI visual might be something they needed, you know, that is great feedback, but I would, unless I was really breaking everything down into subsects, I would never really get to that point unless I was super bored during my feedback, you know? And that's important, especially from the, when you have different types of demographics giving feedback, or, you know, the European PvP scene, let's say in MMOs, is very, very different than a North American. They play differently. I've even, one of the ways of setting up your comp in Warplots in WildStar, I nicknamed the EU comp, because it was built a specific way around a very specific tactic that a lot of those MMO PvPers have been playing for a long time. It's good to get that sort of feedback. But the competition is good. It's necessary. It's healthy. It's very interesting, though, how the companies are now really starting to look at, whether it's Twitch or YouTube, I always looked at YouTube. Now Twitch is starting to get a real hard look, where game companies have come to me and they're like, you don't have a bazillion followers, but you have very dedicated followers, and that's important to us. We want to talk to you. Where other companies are like, we're not interested in talking to you. We want to talk to this guy who's got 3,000 people every time he turns on his stream. Not as highly retentive. People may not fully take his word on stuff, but they'll sit there and hang out with him. It's the idea of the global community and everyone working together is not, I think we made the joke about high school. It's not so much high school, but it's very much going to start changing, especially with what's happening with community managers being underneath marketing and understanding that we don't just have YouTube as a place to look up reviews. We have a place where we can see them being played live by personalities who, the way that they say things matter, and it's better than a forum post. Somebody can write a whole bunch of feedback, but when I'm sitting here looking at Tim and I ask him a question on his stream and he says something, if I buy into what he says, that has heavy weight, more than, they're even starting to find out, an actual review of somebody.
Yeah.
Or a product.
Now, see, this is the thing I'm going to throw at you, Tim, because, you are running a community site. I'm not, I don't have the energy to throw things at you.
I'm worried.
I had something thrown at me earlier today, but no.
I saw.
Yeah, it hurt. But in your case, you're running a global community for a specific game. So it's not multiple games, it's a game. And because of the fact that you're handling that community site, there are, as you said, other types of Motiga-focused centric fan sites that are out there. How do you, or how would you suggest somebody who is going to be doing their own fan site for, say, Motiga or any other game or anything else like that, how do you suggest they handle those situations where you get the people who show up and go, dude, you're ripping my content, or dude, you guys are getting all the firsts, you guys are horrible, or yo, look at us, we're better than those people over there. How do you handle those situations, or what would you recommend?
See, I think that is a very double-edged sword.
I agree.
Because on one hand, let me put my hand in the frame. On this hand, you have the idea that, yes, hey, you're taking material that isn't necessarily yours. But if you're taking that material and crediting it back, for example, if I see an article on somebody's website, I may put a snippet, very small snippet, on my post that says, hey, I read this great article on blankspace.com about whatever it may be. As long as that is there, I don't see a problem with that. Yep. If somebody posts it as original material, that becomes an obvious problem. The problem is you can't really, how do you combat that? You can't. You can simply get into that childish, well, I posted it, you posted it. At the end of the day, people that go to, I don't know where to point, I'm going to just point that way. People that go to Don's website for Gigantic, or people that go to your website, or go to the subreddit, or go to just Twitter to get this information, I don't care how they get it. I care that they get it.
I do want to add something to that, Tim, because a lot of, and it just started happening in the last, I want to say 6 months, maybe a little bit farther back, news companies have been ripping stuff off of Reddit, giving them credit, and building their stories based around that, because the AP system works slower than people on Reddit. And I've just recently, I don't know if you've seen this, it'd be like, source is, Reddit or whatever, and you're like,
right,
this is a flipping newspaper, or this is a news article, really? So
well, look at Robin Williams, tragic, very, very tragic.
Very tragic.
Where do we hear about him? We don't flip on the news right now.
No.
It's either from social media or Reddit. I think Reddit was one of the first people to really publish the news. And to be completely honest, I didn't use Reddit until the Gigantic subreddit. I've never been my kind of style for information.
It's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah,
you really need
yeah.
to have a thick skin, and you need to avoid certain subreddits, or else you are scarred for life.
Yep, you need some internet armor. But I think that you hit the nail on the head, Don, is that information is such a free-flowing source of, it's a commodity now.
Yeah.
It's it's a tangible commodity. Newspapers are really a thing that is going out. Things like this TV. I mean, you're not going to see something like this on TV,
Not
or
yet.
rather that
Not,
was.
I was just about to say, not yet.
5 years ago,
True.
that would be true. ESPN aired the Dota Championships. That was incredible.
Yep.
And what were they doing? They were interlacing their community with a new community. This is promoting this concept of global community. So to get back to the question of how do you handle that, there isn't a right way to handle it, Josie, and there isn't a wrong way to handle it. What you do need to know is that when somebody says something, and this is akin to customer service, if I call you and say I have a problem with this, and I'm completely wrong in my problem, it's not your responsibility to tell me I'm wrong. It's your responsibility to help me figure out the path to get back to the right. Because to me, it's a problem. I wouldn't be calling you. I wouldn't be creating a hissy fit over this because I believe it's a problem. I see this as a situation, this perception reality concept. If I perceive you stole my article, I will address that with you. I don't care that you did, but I just want to make sure that you know that that's not necessarily original material, and to continue to maintain the balance of global community. It's one of those things you really have to figure where you best kind of attack it from, or
Understand
just
your
stand
own
back and let it go.
ethics.
Right.
One of those things. So that's about the content side of things. Now, what about the user side of things? Let us say, and this is not to say that this is happening or has happened, this is just scenarios we're throwing out to try to ensure that we bring as much information to those who are interested as possible so they can make their own choices. Let us say that there is somebody who has decided to make a fan site, and they are not necessarily trying to be competitive with you, but the users start to build this almost competitive drive between each other. For example,
That'll happen.
you know, it does happen. I have seen it happen in multiple games now, but especially in the fan sites. But, you know, when that happens and you have users who sort of take sides or try to instigate things, what would you recommend for the people who are responsible?
Go ahead, Don.
I like Blank's face.
Blank's
I love it.
face or
Blank's face. Blank,
Both. If Tim's not going to say it straight up, I will, and I'm pretty sure he will. You're like, you know, I really don't want that, da-da-da, but you love it. These guys, I've been to your site. They like your content. They like who you are. They trust what you say. Whatever it is, enough for them to be like, well, why would I go to Motiga Not Unleashed? That site stinks. Look at their front page. They don't have pictures. They get the news like 3 days later. You know, I want my news fresh and hot off the griddle, you know? So it's not up for you to take care of what other people do, and when other people decide that they're going to support your project, you know, as long as they're not running around breaking those like online social norms, you know, dropping like sorts of racial slurs and stuff like that in the name of your site, let them go, man. They want to talk some trash. A little trash in the basketball court never hurt anybody.
So when they do that and have people coming onto your site doing that, you say just let it go?
Publicity is publicity, good or bad.
And you let the forum mods deal with it if it gets out of control or something like that. But honestly, if it doesn't cross one of those not black and white, you know, this is what I consider one of those gray social lines, you know, where somebody steps over it and like one person says it's not okay, the other person says it's okay. Most people cross a black and white social barrier. Everybody's like, nah, that's not all right. That's not okay. That's the same sort of a deal. If they're going back and forth with each other and like, you know, why, again, for example, why would I go to, you know, what is it, GG Leashed, their site's slow and crappy, and dude, have you seen their front page? And you know, it's all fair in love and war, man.
It is true. You know, this goes to the idea of competition, especially. There's competition, and then there is copycatting. There is taking information that I find on Reddit, posting it on my website, and saying, "Hey guys, look at what I did." That's goes outside of those social norms. But at the same time, the world is so huge that probably happens on a very regular basis, and nobody really knows of it. Nobody knows that it happens, or nobody cares enough that it does happen. So those things are going to happen. There's really no way to avoid them. But when you find Donna and I, joke with each other that we hate each other, but it's just really truly hatred. Sorry.
Wow. Hey, you heard it here first, and that is our quick bite.
Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. But I have no idea where I was going with that.
His hatred is real and deep and powerful.
You're talking about the difference between copycatting and competition.
Right. So
and your hatred for blank space. And your hatred for blank space.
We may joke about hating each other, but there's a degree of respect that comes, and this. I said a degree. Listen. I'm just gonna sit here.
And
No, so there's a degree of disrespect that comes with our relationship, but in that disrespect, we understand that there are things that we do and we don't do. I'm not gonna bash him to his face. I'll do it behind him.
When he's trying to push my wheelchair down a flight of stairs.
That's a true statement.
That happens. That was a thing.
Yep. Hey, PAX. Yep. So, see, I'm doing work right now.
well, I'm going to throw this question out. This is from Starfire Pixie. By the way, hi, sweetie. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is very good for you. He says, what do you think about the idea of seeing something someone else has done and then thinking, I can do that better, and then making your own version of it?
It's the best way to do it. Actually, according to the DMCA, taking someone else's work and creating it into your own by a certain percentage actually makes you the original content owner. I don't remember what the percentage is. I think it might be 30, 20. I have to go look, but I think that's great. And there's a lot of people, especially on YouTube now, who will take someone else's stuff, put it on their channel. It's not even a different flipping video. They just post a little bit different on it and post it up. Happens all the time. But if we take that example out and we're talking about original content that you see, I'm going to take typing, written form post or a guide or something, and you go over and you're like, this is kind of flawed, but let me do it better, and you create something better, that's awesome. And first of all, if we're going to be, blunt about it, somebody else did a whole crap ton of work, and you were literally able to just be like, I can do this a little bit better. Here, let me just take your kind of raw thing and turn it into a badass, car, What I'm thinking of is if, sorry, it was a really bad analogy. I am off my game today.
If I make a YouTube video and you make it into a car?
Yes.
See, that's what we're looking for. I was just about to say, I'm really anxious to see this one in action.
My analogy was basically if somebody else took a frame of a car, started putting stuff on it, and then put it out front, and you were like, yeah, but I have the tools to make that better, and you actually got it running and going. That's exactly what you're doing. You're turning something that's the framework was done, the pieces are there, but maybe you're able to slap more onto it to make it actually functional, cleaner, prettier, whatever.
You're describing the MMO industry right now.
I understand that. No, that's called a treadmill, and it's a totally different other topic.
The concept is still the same.
So we're going to take this, we're going to put this here. Oh, we're going to add something new. What can we put that shiny on here? Oh, let's call it housing, or let's call it the special role play. Okay,
Wow.
we got a new game for you.
It ships with a cape.
It ships
Everyone
with a
gets a
cape.
cape. So.
Right. Well, I'm
Hey,
going to.
just.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to remind you guys. We have 20 minutes or so.
We have 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Although I may end up kicking Blanky out early.
Yeah.
So,
He's not
thank
leaving
you.
right now, but just early. I'm
That's
putting.
how much he hates me. Oh, bye. Bye.
Here, you know what? Just for you, Tim. Today, I will force Blank to leave early so he can go stand in the corner and reflect on his feelings for you.
Don't do that.
Deep feelings.
Very deep.
That's
feelings.
weird. Take a hammer. Just
I got a
You never
drawer
know.
right here. Just
full of hammers. Here. Got a banana.
oh god.
Every time you come on the show, you bring bananas with you. It is
I've already eaten
brilliant.
on the show.
It is absolutely
I had
brilliant.
one.
I
Right.
think he has a deficiency. If Dr. House was here, he'd probably be like, so,
It's
some
lupus.
yeah, it's lupus. Yeah, it's, what's the other one they always say?
Multiple
Anyway,
sclerosis,
Yeah.
MS.
So, what
Yeah.
were you going to say there, Tim?
Yeah. So forums, Twitter, contest, win that T-shirt. Go make that happen. There's only like 7 people, so the chances of winning are really high right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is global. If you live in the Ukraine, they'll ship it to you. I talked to Bottega this morning about it, and they will ship it anywhere in the world. Be the first this side of, well, I'm in Florida, so I don't know anybody that's further east than me that has the T-shirt. Oh, gigantic T-shirts.
Oh, no.
T-shirts.
Yeah, not me.
So anybody east of me that has a oh, actually, you know what though? I lie because Chris Chung was just at Gamescom, so he might have given some out.
This is true.
But we don't know that for sure. So what we can tell you is that anybody anywhere can sign up and win this T-shirt. Not this one because I'm wearing it.
Good. Make certain you put the link in for the form. You keep putting the Twitter link in. Make certain you throw the form link in as well.
Don't I?
All right.
I suck at this.
I want to throw in my own thoughts on that question from you, Pixie, because I think one of the things that people tend to forget, and this is where I think Blank's going to get a smile on his face and go, uh-huh. But, for example, how many Twitch streamers are there? Take just a guess. Active Twitch streamers
5.
are there. 5.
Oh my god.
There are a lot. Every single Twitch streamer in some way, shape, or form is doing something involving live content, usually. It's all about either playing a game, talking about games, or, talking to developers or what have you. I mean, take a look at what we do here at MMOBuff. We sit together, we have powwows, we have panels, we have streamers, we do all kinds of weird things here. And yet, in the end, someone else can go out there and do exactly the same thing. You think that maybe you can play that game better, so you go and you create your own stream. Or maybe you think you can tell funnier jokes, so you create a stream playing games telling funny jokes. Or maybe you think you have this absolutely brilliant concept to turn yourself into a snowman, sit in front of a game, and play video games while you melt. Whatever your concept is, everyone has sort of the same ideas, but in the end, what is going to separate anybody from anybody are those individual personalities that you see on the screen. At least I would say in the Twitch market kind of thing, even in YouTube. I mean, there are so many people out there right now playing GTA 5 and streaming it, and wow, we are getting curls for the snowmen today. Not even for the girls, it's for the snowmen. But there are so many different people playing exactly the same games, but you have to ask yourself, why is it that some are more popular than others? Did they get the easier break? Did they get the better break? Or is it entirely possible? As we get lots of static from you now.
Is that for me?
Yes.
My bananas are emitting sound.
They are.
They're screaming.
Wow. But there are so many of them out there. In the end, sometimes it's just that people like who's doing that particular stream or the way they've done their format. In all honesty, if someone thinks they can do something better, give it a go. Innovation is how we build on each other. It really is. But I'm also one of those people who believes, give props. If you had an idea for something, like Tim was saying, and, you happen to read something really cool, there's nothing wrong with saying, this was found on somebody else's website. This was really cool. Check it out. It's a big part of spreading the word and spreading the love. Unless you have a business, in which case there is a whole different set of can of worms because there's a whole bunch of intellectual property laws that get behind the things, and it just starts to turn into, can I talk to my lawyer, please? So.
Well, I'll tell you, if we're going to talk about global community in the aspect of Twitch, I'm actually very lucky because I have 50 to 75, it's actually more towards 100, but on a daily basis, 50 hardcore fans, viewers, every day that don't give a shit what I'm playing. They could care less if I am playing South Park, if I play League of Legends, if I have music, if I don't have music, and that sort of engagement is very difficult to get because most folks on Twitch are looking to be entertained, whether it's by boobies, whether it's by some guy playing the new game that's out, whatever it may be. And a lot of the very popular streams do things to be engaging and entertaining. Their levels of engagement, though, vary from place to place. Sometimes it depends what game you're playing. Sometimes it depends the type of channel that you make. But the idea of global community on Twitch changes so much, and it's about to change even more right now with the way that they've allowed this whole hosting thing to set up.
Yes.
You're able, like right now, I'm hosting however many people to MMOBuff.
And Starfire
And
Pixie's also hosting us as well. Massive hearts to
there
you.
are I've said this and I'm going to say it again. And this is my prediction. In the next couple of months, you're going to see, you know how you can play a game, so it's like Real Blank Space playing Arcade on Viking Nation. I'm expecting to see a change in the global community and the culture of Twitch TV where people are going to be hosting each other based upon the type and way that they play games. So you will see Elohim, I'm sure Doc Game will end up doing it where everyone will be under, and instead of calling it ABC or NBC or CNN, they'll have some other fun name because this is the internet, but you will see these folks sharing that same viewership, and it will be a lineup. Hey, Ko plays from 9 until 3. When Ko's done, he'll be hosting Elohim. And when Elohim's done, he's going to host Real Blank Space. And when Real Blank Space is done, it'll be Doc Game. And when Doc... I expect, and a lot of people have been like, I don't see that happening. A lot of folks, it won't be based on global community. It will be based upon this is a global audience. And if you can keep them engaged in one place, and you can keep stable numbers, it used to be one channel my way. God bless Tally, but that's the way he did it. Like, I don't work with any other people. I don't do stuff with anyone else. I just do my own do. Twitch has grown so much you can't do that anymore. In the future, I think things are going to change, and it'll be really exciting to see that. Because, you know, what channel do I want to be on? Do I want to be on Comedy Central? You know, who do I want to do stuff with? You know, do I feel like being serious on the History Channel? Do I want to do reality TV-like stuff? Do I want to do serious gaming? And there's so many. I just opened up, I scrolled down on Twitch. I opened up one channel that was like SOTOR. There were 50 people playing SOTOR, streaming. And that's like some mid-level, yeah, exactly, mid-level, whatever. That's in the middle. We're not talking about the higher ones. You click something like League of Legends, I would have been counting forever. I dare say there's maybe 5,000, if not more, people that stream on Twitch. I might say them. I would even dare say up to even.
Did you say 5,000?
Active in a day, actual streamers.
At one point, okay. Because I was going to say there's.
No, there's probably millions of people that have signed up on the site, but I'm saying active at one time during any period. That's an active viewer or an active streamer. I would say there's probably 5,000. Probably more.
I would say it's probably even more than that. I mean,
depending on the time.
All the same, it's a large number. We don't need to get into the semantics if it is 3 to the square root of pi.
But and that fluctuates at 5 o'clock. The magic number for most people is noon Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 o'clock for Europe. That's 9 o'clock for the West Coast. It's, like I said, it's noon for Eastern Standard. You're able to hit all of the major markets, including Southeast Asia, which is around the same time, depending on where you're at.
14 hours or something.
And it's, like I said, it's an entire global audience, but the times change, you know, and there's a lot more viewers that watch certain channels at certain times. And I won't fully go into that, but it will be interesting to see what happens to Twitch here in the future, especially with there are some other companies, not just Hitbox, and I'm not going to mention them yet, that are popping up that are not in America that don't have copyright laws. So you want to play music, you want to play a movie, you want to do whatever. It's kind of turning into Wild West out there. So it'll be interesting to see how things kind of unfold in front of us. Again, global community-wise here in the future, because I don't see Twitch moving their stuff out anywhere.
Well, see,
there's a certain dynamic that comes with that, though. One of the biggest reasons when I started doing radio shows for MMO in 2002, there was no real laws on internet radio or anything like that because that shit didn't exist. Excuse my language. That didn't exist. Nobody did that. And I still believe that I was the first, and I've yet to have anyone come forward. Now, show me a radio show for an MMORPG before Asheron's Call Radio in 2001, and I will give you a banana.
Oh, I
Yeah,
really
me
want a
too.
banana too.
Yeah,
That's what she
I
said.
know their house. Hey,
Ah! Oh,
um,
bingo.
she Don's only's got the plantains, but so hey, listen, he's gonna wow, that's a Schwad.
It's a
Uh,
long sword.
it's a hobbit sword. Oh no, it's not. It looked like the blade of a. Anyways, I digress. Um,
We are not easily distracted here, like crows.
not
Shiny.
at all. Um, damn, I really don't remember where I was going. Oh,
Well, you were
so
The
stroking your
dynamic.
ego about having the
Right.
first show on the internet.
Hey, you've been stroking your ego ever since I met you. Um, so, but back then there was no real laws, and then there was a radio station that Troy is quite familiar with called Thinking Man Studios or Thinking Man Studio Broadcasting, which did Radio Free Zion, Dungeons and Dragons Radio. We put the rock, you role play.
Oh my
Did Pirates of the
God.
Burning Sea.
I actually remember that.
Yeah,
Now I'm
I
starting to feel
did
old.
D&D radio for them.
Great.
No, that was 2004, 2006 timeframe. And then that's when the royalty board started really kicking into high gear and charging when I say it, it seems trivial, but it was something like 3 cents per listener, per song, per hour. And when you think of that on a global scale, when you play, the average song back then was 3 minutes long. You can get in, 10 songs, 20 songs in an hour. And if you have 30 listeners, that comes up to be a lot of money for a radio station that doesn't have a huge amount of revenue. And so that shift in the money culture of what we're doing today is now happening to streamed media, video media. Everyone knows what happened to Twitch with the whole, we're going to mute your stuff if you play a song that Metallica sang. And obviously they've changed gears a little bit, but that doesn't mean that the winds of change aren't blowing. And as a global community of gamers, not just a specific title, but as a global community of gamers, we have really two sides. We can either accept it and go with the change, which is the easier thing, or we can be activists for change and activate and push our agenda that fits our society. Getting off a little bit on the subject, I've been exchanging emails. I'm not a political person. I don't involve myself in politics a whole lot, but there's a band called ICP, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with, that are going to play in a concert hall here in Fort Myers, where I'm from in Florida. And there was a congressman who had the audacity to say, sorry, folks, it's not going to happen. A city councilman who said, sorry, folks, it's not going to happen. So I sent him this rather long letter that said, listen, who are you to say this? And like I said, I don't get involved in this, but as these changes happen, Twitch changed gears, correct, on what they said, because the global community came together and said, hey, that's bullcrap, don't do that. No, that's not what happened?
They were purchased by Google for $1.6 billion between Fort Bros. So as part of taking care of their content, they put in a way to cover their butts so that performance rights for musical members and their copyrights, blah, 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 could be protected on their VODs. So the only way you'd be able to do that is to, what's the other platform out there? YouTube? If you put it on YouTube and it's covered under the same thing, you would get your something slapped. So you either have to save it yourself, upload it with music that wasn't copywritten. You couldn't use the highlights on Twitch anymore, and they're not forward thinking enough or afraid of the potential cost of paying somebody like ASCAP to potentially blanket all of Twitch for them to do whatever they wanted. They could have fought for free, the whole free rights of people to play music or whatever, but they didn't. And now it was a smart legal decision, but when it really boils down to it, people are realizing that Twitch is making a crap ton of money, and when people see people making money, they want their cut. And so when they're like, okay, well, you're playing music on your stream, the composer wants it, and these people want it, and then it turns into this whole, we start thinking about the 90s with all the music stuff and what constitutes, whatever, and it really just boils down to people want their money for the things that they create. So I don't expect it to get much more difficult, but...
Go on.
Restaurants don't sing happy birthday for a reason.
Or they sing an incredibly modified version.
Yep.
They sing a modified version of it.
But at the same time, there is actually a battle going on stating that this is public domain. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going into it. I actually wrote one of my theses on intellectual property in information technology, whether you've added the written word to something or anything else like that. Blank, if you want to just go ahead, pause your camera. I want you to go sit in the corner, think about your hatred for him, embrace it, let it fill you, let it take you to the dark side. Where does the cape that is supposed to come in the latest MMO box that makes it different from every other MMO that's out there? But if you just pause it, once everything's done, I'll close it down and everything, but that way nothing gets shifted or anything else like that. I have a really interesting thing to show you.
Bye, guys.
Hearts, go off, Blank. And you can mute your mic and everything. That'll make things easier as well. But in today's day and age, there is almost this lack of understanding and awareness and knowledge of the true power that communities have. But do you know who's the revolutionary for it?
Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely. It's actually the gaming cultures.
Right.
It's the gamers who are doing an insane amount of stuff to formulate and build things. And yes, there are things out there like 4chan. Yes, there are things out there like Reddit. And yes, there are things out there like a variety of sites. I can't name them all because they're just all out there. But there are a whole bunch of things out there that'll help change the world. You just got to be willing to spread the news, the love, and be aware of the fact that people are going to disagree. Guess what I have in front of me, considering everything that we're currently talking about?
A cucumber. Very nice. I have one somewhere around here.
There's a reason I have this.
Is it so you can rob a bank and no one will know it's you?
Oh, I'm sure they'd know it's me. I'd probably walk in, stumble, fall, start coughing, and then be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Yeah, going, "Ow, ow. Oh God, there goes my back. Ow." Yeah, they'd know it's me. They would know it's me. But be aware of things. But in the end, the gamers, what we do in our small little guilds, in our small little communities, and the people like you who decide to open up for a game to anybody, regardless of what guild, what side of the ocean you live on, anything else like that. Remember, in the end, there is something called respect. And while we may have had a joking about it, you have this hatred for Dawn and you guys have this disrespect thing that you understand, in the end,
is it Don or Dawn?
D-O-N.
Oh, I've been calling him Dawn. He's so feminine.
In the end, blank space rules all from the Viking Nation. But yes, what it comes down to is just a matter of respect. And there are going to be so many opinions. And who has many opinions? Gamers do. That's why there's so many bloody games out there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to ask a favor of you.
I suppose.
My big...
Oh, not that favor. Sorry.
If you want to take it off, go right ahead. But no, my big favor for you is there's a contest that you're doing right now. And I'd like for you to share that information again for people.
And
then is there an end date?
Yes. About 5 minutes from now. We're giving it away live.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought everyone knew that.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. You don't have to. You just have had to have entered. So actually, yeah, maybe I should have said that at the beginning. Maybe I suck at this. Maybe it's Maybelline. So you guys have about 5 minutes. Go ahead and post your retweets. Go ahead and sign up on the forums. I'm going to do this a little bit more split because I feel like we didn't get the message out correctly. So either or. If you've tweeted out or if you've posted on the forums, you are entered to win this contest. Just because I feel like we
Not
may
this
have...
one. This one's different.
Not that one. we
it's
may
that
have
one.
misrepresented this, or I may have misrepresented this. This shirt is actually going to come directly from Motiga. They're going to ship it out to you, so that's why we can do it worldwide, because I'm way too cheap to
You
send it
are
out globally.
honest. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
so honest. I can't do this. It's
So
just too expensive. Screw
there
this.
is there's a contest also going on my forums, ggunleash.com, where you can win one of these and a Motiga bag. So head over there. That contest runs until I think the 28th, and all you got to do is really kind of sign up on the forums and participate. Um, but I mean, the idea is, of course, getting involved. I want to really quick. We got about 3 minutes left.
We're
Is
actually going to just run for a little bit. You don't need to feel like we have to cut off
I'm
unless you
actually
need
going
to
to
go.
need to go.
That's
Yeah,
kind of what I
that
thought.
whole work thing. My boss emailed me like, "What are you doing?" So, but the whole concept here is I want to tell you guys a little short story. If you guys haven't heard of Gigantic, and I'm going to soapbox for them because that's why I'm here. I mean, obviously, I've been around the community for a long time, but as far as gaming, but Gigantic Unleashed and Motiga Unleashed was the first site. Motiga actually has done something that I think is rare for a gaming community. They invited me and another gentleman known as Icehole out to San Francisco. So when Gigantic got announced, when you saw the video from Mike B, and you saw the interviews and the first material about Gigantic Unleashed, they brought out 2 members of the community to help, I won't say represent the title, but definitely help to be there to kind of chime that bell on the occasion and say, hey, we're announcing our game, but we're going to have our community with us throughout the whole ride. And then a week later, we also went out to Seattle to their announcement party, and there's a ton of pictures on ggunleashed.com. If you guys haven't taken a look, they're fantastic. I'm looking over here because this is where I have chat, and so I'm like, hey guys.
I look this way because that's where you guys are. I look this way because that's where the chat is. I get it.
I'm looking at the stream right here, but anyway, but they really invited the community out to do some redacted things and really get involved, and they just went all out. They went out of their way, and it's a testament to not only Troy and Allie, but to Chris Chung, who Chris Chung is the CEO of Motiga, and he and Chris Lambert founded the company. But their office. So I got to do a tour of their office on Saturday after the party, and Chris Chung sits out on the floor with everyone else. He doesn't have an office. He's the CEO who sits at a desk that's smaller than an artist's desk, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. Because the business end of the company sees that there is such a need for that open bay relationship, open door policies. He makes those look funny. He's got this open, hey, walk up and tap me on the shoulder mentality. And,
it's a little like Mark Zuckerberg's style of running Facebook.
Yeah, right.
And
it really is.
In fact, there are quite a few really big IT companies that do the exact same thing, and it has a true powerful effect.
Yeah, my boss is, I'll point it that way, sitting in 7 offices down. His door's always open, but it's always got that kind of, hey boss, I want to talk to you. Whereas Chris Chung starts Nerf wars in the office.
Or holds Troy hostage in the middle of a stream on the Campfire.
Right. But equally, it's somebody stole Troy's lunch today. We may have been responsible for that. I don't know what happened. But Troy and Allie have both been challenged, by the way, by me for the ALS challenge, for the ice bucket. Mm-hmm. Since they're busy, we gave them a pretty big window to knock it out. So I'm going to link that real quick. But definitely. I've got to get out of here.
Yes.
Because, well, I have
that's
that
the way things work.
Thing.
Yep.
But it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a joy. Thank you for bumping up the time early. Seriously.
Yeah, no worries. So let me see. Gosh. I'm thinking that maybe I'll tweet out the winner just because
Yes,
I want
that
to give
might be
people
easier
more
because
time.
it
Yeah,
gives some people a little bit of time, especially considering we have changed our time for when we usually go out.
yeah,
And you know,
yep. So
I'd say give them maybe a day or two.
yeah, so what we'll
That'd be
do
my
then? What is
recommendation.
it? Today's Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
Um, so what we'll do is we'll do this until let's say Thursday.
That makes good
Thursday
sense.
this time, so 3 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, we will announce a winner. So I ask you, Josie, to help promote this contest, help
Absolutely.
help get the gigantic, and everyone out there.
Get that
Obviously,
T-shirt.
get a T-shirt, get some, and make sure you check out ggunleashed.com. Make sure you check out the r/gigantic subreddit. There's another fan site called gigantichub.com. Check them out. There's a couple of wikis, and actually all of them are linked on the subreddit. We also have an IRC channel. Actually, if I were to
Is
look
it
at
on Global
IRC right now,
Gamers?
it is indeed on Global Gamers.
I love the
So
guys
right
from
now,
Global Gamers. So is it in Unleashed?
no, it's actually Pound Gigantic. So if you go to my website or the subreddit, there's a link for it. So right now in
I'll just go to my
IRC,
IRC client and come say hi.
there you go. Troy Hewitt's in there. Huggles is in there. Allie. Greg, Heath, Ola Mork, and the new QA guy are all hanging out with us in IRC.
There you
So
go.
there's a bunch of Motita faces in there. Obviously respect the NDA and respect their schedules and things like that. But definitely come by and say hi, guys. We'll be here for you, and thanks again, guys.
Absolutely. And that leaves me to say to you all, thank you all so much for being here. Remember, tomorrow is all about Blizzard. Thursday at 1 p.m. UK time, we have Juice, I'm going to get his name wrong, Juice joining us from Liquid Flower. He did all the sound design for them. And the Data Mine, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of indie stuff about sound and music in games. Friday, we have a giveaway going through Cosmotronic. And also tomorrow on YouTube, you'll catch Top Draw, our next episode. Beyond that, remember, we love you. We adore you. If you have any questions, get in touch with us, voice at MMOBuff.TV, or any of the, social media links and anything else that goes with that. On that, thank you so much for watching. By the way, Pixie, I need to get you back on the show. We got to just, chat about more things, and we could totally get into this, whole Twitch thing, and, it's also kind of, it's all amazing. But for you, Darius, this is where I get to say one of the coolest things ever. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
You, sir, are dismissed.
Aw. But you are smarter than a fifth grader.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
All right.
That. Sing us
So
away.
long, and thanks for all the fish. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back any. I hate you. Why do you do this to me?
Because you like bananas.
Let it go. I do like bananas. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold me back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. You can stop the stream anytime. 'Cause I gotta go. I gotta go. All right, guys. So long, and thanks for all the fish.